At the outside prison, I call them outside wall, a case wall be that, not the outside Buhari day. A case man be that, and the man in Christmas day, not the outside them judge they beg you. A case wall be that, not the outside them kill them students, so like Rosari and Ife. A case wall be that, not the outside Buhari day. A best man be that, and the man in Christmas day. A best man be that, and the man in Christmas day. A best wall be that.
Hello, welcome to Melaninandalbinoid Live. Hi, I'm Lady Abimbola. Welcome to today's segment. Melaninandalbinoid is really focused on the melanin and the albinoid people, which means that I talk about the gang stalking program, a racist system established against the melanin race, and the abuse of the fundamental human rights. For a very long time, for decades, the melanin people have been subjected to all kinds of segregation, persecution, abused, atrocities committed against the melanin race. But for a very long time, the melanin people have taken these abuses and have just refused either to fight back or to retaliate. The melanin has been intimidated for too long, and I believe as most of us begin to penetrate more of educational level. I'm not saying melanin were never educated, because if you go back to the slave trade, it's not the picture that was given that, the albinoid came to Africa, some of our brothers, they were traitors and they sold us out and they took us for slaves. That was not the story. That's not history. That's the albinoid version of the slave trade history. That's not the history. But, that's for another video. It's not for this video. The truth of the matter is that right now, so much is going on. And I believe, I'm a very peaceful person. I'm not a loud person. And I'm not an offensive person. But I see myself displaying some of these things. And this is caused actually out of anger, bitterness, and severe irritation of disrespect. You see a system established to destroy the intelligent melanin, the rich melanin, the melanin that actually they're capable of being independent of government, the melanin that are capable of being independent of anybody, and they can establish things on themselves. These are targeted melanin. The system we're up against is a system that targets the melanin race for destruction, economical ruin, poverty. It's not something caused because you are not capable to make it. Poverty is actually a weapon that is actually used against the melanin. And how is that? Melanin actually have been segregated out of employment level, especially when it comes to high-profile employment. I know this. I got professional employment different times in the region where I stay in Alto Adige, and they were instructed by the authorities, instructed my employers. One of the jobs I was actually on the trial level. I was, I've not even done my first month. I was just there about, more than a week or something like that, about 10 days or something like that. And they told them to relieve me of work, that they should not employ me. That if I want to work, I can go and do things like my other connationals, like cleaning the hospital or cleaning anywhere. So basically, this is a system that has been inculcated for too long in the minds of both albinoid and the melanin people. This is a system that has ruined generation upon generation of intelligent, of well capable of success melanin that have been ruined, shattered. Melanin boy graduates and he has a bright future. Somebody will set him up for rape. And if he's taken to prison, somebody that is so qualified that probably should pardon him for the fact that he doesn't have criminal record, he's so qualified, he's a graduate, that is a more reason you should stay in prison for 10 years. So the time you should be developing your skills, your professional skills, you are rotting away in prison. Listen, this streak has gone on too long, and I believe I'm very proud the way Nigerians actually reacted to what happened. I mean Nigerians, I'm not talking about the government, I'm coming to that. Because the title of this blog is actually the greatest curse Africans have is actually the politicians that rule over us. And this is an eye-opener for Africans. We have the electoral power to choose whom to rule over us and who not to rule over us. Whether they want to manipulate or not, if we actually decide to vote for, let me tell you what you have to look for in president. Look at Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a businessman. Somebody will say, why are you this man that is racist? Donald Trump is not racist. If you say Donald Trump is racist, then you can say I'm racist also. Donald Trump, as Omarosa that fell out with him said, is not racist, but it's racial. There are two different things. So don't be blindsided by the public opinion of a person. Because propaganda is the greatest weapon in the hands of any oppressor. Donald Trump is not racist, it's racial. Racial means he kind of prefers his own kind. And I can understand, because if you look at the melanin race at times, they are not trustworthy, even amongst ourselves. You have been broken so much, mentally broken down. You are now just a zombie for any idiots. For any idiots. Even you find Chinese that hates you, that detests you, that is disgusted by you, that is irritated by you, and these people come and romance you, throwing money to the greedy politicians. And these same politicians, what do? Listen to this.
Well, it was clandestine operations. We were involved in coups, taking over countries for other leaders. We were involved in Mozambique, spreading the AIDS virus through medical conditions. We were involved in Angola with Dr. Jonas Savimbi for various operations. We gave military support.
So people were killed during these operations?
Oh, definitely. We
Can we I just do the question again, and then you can pop in.
Yeah.
You mentioned actively spreading AIDS?
There was a unit in from Sinai that one of the things was that we went into African countries.
And how was that done exactly?
Through inoculation.
Through vaccines?
Yeah, through vaccines. It turned into inoculate people and type of thing.
The idea being to kill black people?
Yeah, to eradicate black people. You must understand the concept was that AIDS was a killer. It was incurable at that point in time, so it was led to believe that if you infected people, it was the quick, non-militaristic approach to eliminate black people.
And that is something you know for a fact, that AIDS was actively being spread to other countries?
Yes. To African.
That's number one. They sell you out and get you infected with viruses, with bacteria, with disease. They give them some money and they allow outside the foreign bodies to come into Africa, bring contaminated vaccines that will make us sterile, that will give us viruses, that will give us disease, that will make us sick. Your military head of state gives the foreign personnel to use us as guinea pig. This is not the first time, it has been happening for a very long time. That's number one. Then number two video, look at this.
Simply because In this day and age, the idea of a restaurant or any public place in Nairobi for that matter that does not admit black Kenyans is absolutely shocking. It is for this reason that Kenyans are in an uproar over reports that this restaurant, simply referred to as the Chinese restaurant, is refusing to admit any black Kenyans after 5 p.m. Lack of creativity aside, the management has come out saying that they do not allow black Kenyans into the restaurant because their Chinese patrons feel safer and more comfortable if African patrons are locked out.
That's number two. Number two, they allow foreigners, Chinese, come to our country, open restaurants and allow us. They discriminate us in their country, and they discriminate us also in our territory in Africa. Well, Kenya actually they reacted in the way a proud African should react.
All right, this latest video also trended on social media.
Silent. Over recent weeks, Ghanaian authorities have arrested and repatriated at least 200 they accuse of working illegally and cashing in on the West African nation's rich seam of gold deposits.
We want to make this very clear that small-scale mining is prohibited to foreigners. It's a precept of Ghanaians. And so it doesn't matter which part of the world you come from.
Minister of Immigration says he was deported on racism grounds hours after his permit for selling motorcycles was cancelled. The Chinese embassy in Nairobi says that the remarks were personal and do not in any way represent the views of the vast majority of Chinese people.
Really? Yeah, it's like you are punishing me.
It is a clip that has gone viral on social media. Chinese national identified as Liu Jiaqi hurling insults at Kenyans. In the video captured by an employee at his motorcycle shop in Ruiru, he refers to Kenyans, including President Uhuru Kenyatta, as monkeys.
This is all the Kenyans, like a monkey. Even Uhuru Kenyatta, all of them.
It's like a monkey.
Yeah, sure.
The president of this country.
Yeah, sure.
Liu, who was nicknamed Judge by his employees, brags that there is nothing poor, black, smelly Kenyans can do to him if he fires the employee.
Here.
You don't care.
I don't belong to here. I don't like here. Like a monkey people. I don't like. Talk is them. Smell is bad. And poor. And foolish. And black. Who like them? Why not the black? The
legal row has broken out between China and Taiwan, and Kenya is in the middle of it. Taiwan is enraged that the African nation deported dozens of Taiwanese nationals after acquitting them on cybercrime charges, but they didn't send them to Taiwan. They sent them to mainland China. Now, this video purports to show the Taiwanese group barricading itself in a Kenyan jail cell to avoid deportation. When the group arrived in China, authorities marched them into waiting buses with their heads covered in black hoods. China praised Kenya for respecting its One China policy, and a spokesman said China is launching its own criminal investigation of the group.
Well, if Chinese are kicked out of China, they were so much disgusted. They don't care if they're Chinese, if they're from Taiwan, if they're whatever. To them, they're all Chinese. Kick them out of here. Let them get out of our country. And they have the audacity to build business, illegal business in our country without paying tax. Now, I'm a Nigerian. I'm a very proud Nigerian woman. Anybody that follows my video, you know this by now. I'm a very proud African woman. I'm proud to be Nigerian. I declare it. I don't seize the opportunity to if you see my hair, I'm either with afro or, braids or anything that shows my beautiful melanin futures. Okay? Now, the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is aware of the Boko Haram problem, and Nigerians are saying he's not doing anything about it. You see, there are two things. You don't want to do something about something, or you're unable to do something about something, or you just don't care doing something about something, or probably what is happening, you have a hand in it. Now, their videos, I will just switch off the audio. You know, it's from another blogger actually that is focused on this situation with the military. The military came out and they were actually saying things that is happening, how federal government pays our military, people that goes to sacrifice their lives in war, the dollars they give them per month. You would even normal factory workers get more money than our military. They don't take care of them, they don't have uniforms, they don't have enough equipment, they don't pay them good money, and they send them to go and kill them, to go and die at war. And when they die, they are still paying the money of a dead military person because they don't inform anybody about the loss of any life. Boko Haram situation that has actually sent so many Nigerians away from Nigeria, that they exposed themselves to the torture they went through in Libya, how they enslaved them in Libya, how they raped the women, how they impregnate Nigerian girls, how they even sexually molest the guys, they beat them up, they destroy their lives, they did everything. And I think I have a video, I showed a clip where they were actually beating and pouring melted plastic on an African. This is where all these young Africans came through. Yeah, well, some of them are just all these occultists that is escaping from Africa. Some of them are normal people, innocent people that just want better life for themselves. They ran away from there, crossing into Europe, seeking political asylum for the motive of Boko Haram. But Boko Haram can be solved if President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria wants to solve it. But instead, what is he doing? You see the Boko Haram, where they actually exploit ignorant Muslim boys, ignorant, illiterate Muslim boys to fight. They are the Boko Haram militants that they recruit into the military, whatever, you know, to attack civilians and whoever. But the military that your federal government, the federal government of Nigeria is sending to fight the Boko Haram war are Christians. Are Christians.
Where there is no body. See how they kill our fellow soldiers. See how they burn them inside laws. They are using us to make money. They are using us to make money. It's a lie. This is the play they take 40 barrels. They are using us to make money. Why? Are we not human beings? Are we not human beings? You get the picture, see where they get there, this is what Nigeria Army has been doing. What do they call it? This is Emrak. This is Emrak. This is Emrak. Yes. What of human being? This is the place. This is the location they are saying that Metele. They take almost 40 barrels or something. Now these people they want to come and use us. They want to come and use us. These soldiers now. We are 147 now. Now they want to come and waste us. We will not do it. It's a lie. Our blood is not here. Our blood is not here. We are going to put this into federal government. This is third vehicle. Third one. Pay the government. Yes. Third one. Yes. Third one. This is third by. This is another this location again. Camera. This is 672. Camera. And Balawi broke all this place. Why Balawi to do this place? And this place, the place, this location they are calling Metele, that they take almost 40 barrels from here. Now, our people now, they are using us to have money, to get money, to use our blood, to use everything. And we are not getting anything from them. Go with IMPEACH. Go, federal government, please interfere on all this place. Interfere. They want to come and kill us. Some guy they are calling, that terrorist, they are calling him Abalawi. They want to come and kill us. They are collecting money, taking him to everywhere. This is the thing. They are boy father. Federal government, please interfere. Interfere on us. These people are killing us too much. They say we are zombie. We don't know our rights. We don't know our rights. They say we are animals. Any other they give us, they will go. This one operation they call last one, they'll finish all of them. Now we are 145 years. Federal government interfere us all this thing. Interfere us. Interfere. We are millennial soldiers, Indian soldiers. We are not Iyole, we are not any soldier, we are not 63 NA, we are not 79, we are millennial soldiers. Most of us are graduates here. If you like, stay. If you like, stay. If you like, stay. If you like, you get out target, you get one of us, stay. This is another T12. This is another T12. See why they do T12. See, and this T12 is obsolete. Is doing General Shagari. They have this thing. See, it's not updated one. It's updated. It was 1983 that they do this from Slovakia. Now, it's not the money that federal government giving you these people to be buying weapons. This is Shagari regime. Obsolete weapons. Federal government interfere.
So they are not sending any Muslim if they have probably a minority, and they're sending handful of Christian soldiers to fight terrorist group that, well, they are not ignorant of its creation. I don't want to go too much into that because it upsets me a lot. Boko Haram problem in Nigeria is just like the story of Bin Laden, a created figure to harass, causing terror. Then they begin to pump money into it, and it goes nowhere. The money they get for Boko Haram harassment from international bodies is beyond human comprehension, but our military are not paid nada for this. They are not compensated, they are not supported, they don't have uniforms, they don't have equipment, they have machineries that they've been using in the 70s, in the 60s. That's what they're using in year 2000 to fight Boko Haram. Well, President Muhammadu Buhari also partnered with a communist nation, China. He borrowed 4 billion from the Chinese government. We have not seen what he has done with the money. He even insists, after bringing, contrary to the desires of Nigerians, bringing Chinese government, Chinese doctors into Nigeria. Nigerians kicks against it, he brought them in until my beautiful Student Union of Nigeria stood up and fought against it. You see, when Showore was shouting, Showore fought against it. They arrested him. Nigerians didn't do anything. Listen, it's an high time we start fighting for the activists amongst us. We start fighting for people that stand up. There should be a leader. But the irritating thing there is that there was a time I spoke with an ignorant Igbo person over here, and I was like, why can't Nigeria just rally around this guy and, achieve something instead of now throwing tribalistic into this kind of thing? The guy told me, do I know the history of Yoruba and Igbo? That already disgusted me, but I still went along with the discussion, pretending. It was like, Showore has the right message, but it's from a wrong person. I said, what makes him wrong? Showore has been actively into human rights, supporting human rights for a very long time, right from university days, right from his student union days in Unilag, when he was in Canada. He has always been somebody supporting human rights. Showore is an intelligent graduate and well-known, well-spoken Nigerian guy. He's young, so of course he will display some young whatever, unlike a mature person. But common sense he has. He has boldness. If he can stand against a government, he has all it takes to rule a country. We all, like every other person, we're all work in progress. He has things to learn, but also he has all it takes. Well, he said he had the right message from a wrong person. You see what is killing Africa? Showore has the right message, but is a wrong candidate because it's Yoruba. That is what is killing Africans. We have to stop all these shenanigans and start facing facts. We need to build Africa. We have everything it takes to become world power. Chinese is already buying their way through Africa through debt, the debt deception. And Buhari is actually drawing us to that path of debt, the path of enslavement. Just a year or two or thereabout, it will be Africans choose which way to die, because which angle you turn, you will die. We are getting close to that. It will just be choose which way to die. You want to die through the vaccine. You want to die through the Western world. You want to die through your own militaries that are there to kill the citizens. You want to die through which way? Just choose, because every angle you have actually been cornered. We can still destroy that which wants to hold us captive, or that which has been holding us captive. First of all, Chinese is our #1 enemy in Africa. They must go. You see Kenya, Nigeria, you see Kenya. But right now, it's not the matter you see. Nigeria is the giant of Africa. Nigeria is the biggest. South Africa cannot, they are nothing compared to us. Kenya is definitely nothing. So many other, they look up to Nigeria. Nigeria is like the America of Africa. We have the wrong leader. When you find that a leader is not competent and is actually dragging us to the path of destruction, Boko Haram, from the mouth of the military themselves, the war of Boko Haram can be stopped. It is just a make-believe war. Boko Haram is a make-believe war, though it's a make-believe in the sense that they're just using that war to get international recognition, to get finances and things like that. But the truth of the matter is that Boko Haram was actually created to create all this tension in Nigeria. So they will continue to pump money into Nigeria, where our dirty politicians can take the money. Donald Trump is not a politician, he's a businessman. And you see the way he's running the country, he's thinking about the development of the country. Whether he has personal interest or not, I'm not bothered about that. But he's thinking about developing America and to make Americans great. What have they done? The ones that have been actually gaining from the destruction of every nation, they fought against him, they want him to be impeached, they humiliate him, they send the media against him, they want to distract him with all the accusations, because propaganda, accusation, persecution are all the things they use against great people. Remember, all you people that are a little bit ignorant, propaganda, lies, defamation of character, slander campaign is the greatest weapon they use against great people. When you are actually a target of slander and shame campaign, it is because they fear you and they want to bring you down through manipulating the mind of people. Because when you manipulate the mind of people, the people will just flow along without investigating anything. I have been a target like that, so I know what I'm talking about. Boko Haram is a make-believe war in Nigeria. If a president, all he's doing is taking vacation abroad, going for medical checkup every 2 weeks, and getting loans that he cannot account for, those are enough reasons. And actually fellowshipping, having relationship with communist president and selling us out. Chinese must go. The Chinese market in Nigeria, they must be destroyed. We have to encourage made in Nigerian product. I have an online store. If you look at Abimbola Global Enterprise, Abimbola Global Enterprise, it's my online store. Here in Italy where I stay, they have refused to let me do professional work like every other professionals over here. They have refused. They have crippled my finances. They have attacked me several times, and I'm not talking about normal people. Normal people are being used, but the order comes from above. Not from God, of course, from wherever above. You know what I'm talking about. So, the order to attack melanin that are strong, melanin that has intelligence, melanin that can stand on their own, melanin that are economically independent, is a melanin to be feared. And that's why my economy is continuously being attacked. My domicilio is continuously being attacked. I'm continuously being harassed. I'm continuously being persecuted. I was beaten by two Italian male policemen at Marghera, Venezia, Italy, via Conci, I believe that's the name of the street, via Conci. These two police officers, they actually put their hands on me and they gave me bruises. They didn't break my bone, but you know, I had bruises all over my body, and they actually broke some of my gadgets. You know, this is madness is happening. We can actually impeach our government if they are actually putting our life at risk. They are using, external bodies give our government money. They give our government money to come and use us as guinea pigs. They give us vaccines that will make us sterile. They give us vaccine. They use us as guinea pig to practice medicine that their country benefit us, but they use us as guinea pig. This has been going on for decades. For decades, Africans, the way we fought China, it wasn't our government that did what they did. It was the citizens that fought, that the government didn't have a choice. But you can see Buhari is not still happy. They are still laying strategy how they are going to sell us completely to Chinese people. And when you see Chinese don't want us, you can see that they detest us, they hate us, they cannot stand the blacks. Only the thing they want is our country. They want to drive us out of Africa. They want to enslave us. They are going to kill all of us. If we become so indebted, they are going to. I'm telling you, the people that created coronavirus, you think they cannot kill us within 1 week? If they can infect the whole globe in just 2 months, they can kill us in just 2 days. The food we eat is now made in China. They have pushed Nigerian food aside. The clothes we wear, I don't wear that clothes. Everything I wear, I bought this, you know, brand new. But most of even these designers' clothes and everything, they are actually made in China. These guys I'm wearing, definitely, there's something is made in China. So we have been so much connected to them. So much connected to them. We have to start cutting China away from our existence. Africa must rise again. We must rise again. Our doctors must come back home. We have scientists, we have physicians, we have chemists, we have biologists, we have astronauts, we have engineers, we have architects. We have everything to become world power. But we have fools that are presiding over us. Showore said there must be revolution. It was something we have to think about. We don't need to even go to that level of revolution and cause confusion with this virus. But impeachment should be considered. It is a question. I'm not actually saying that. It is a question to all Nigerians. If you're a Nigerian, should think impeachment should be considered. I think you should write it about. Share your opinion. Should impeachment be considered? Because African leaders, African politicians, the military, they are the greatest curse that is placed upon Africans. It's an high time. You see, Chief MKO Abiola is not a politician, he's a businessman. He would have done similar thing to Donald Trump. Because business people, they build. They're not into a bullshit politician. They build. Politicians are there thinking they have a position to enrich themselves. They don't care whether we live or die. All the money they've taken to Switzerland, all the money they've taken abroad is abroad right now. All their houses in Dubai, in England, in America, in Canada, in Europe, in France, let them get there now. All their private jets is packed because no airport, every border is closed. That is the wonder of Baba God. God, I hail you. That is the wonder of God Almighty. With coronavirus, everybody is locked. No more medical checkup. No more medical checkup. So that in fact, they don't have medical checkup. But instead, to see that somebody was saying the other day that he doesn't know Nigerian hospitals are so much in such a state. Fine, now that you know, what are you guys doing about it? Nothing. Should impeachment be considered for this government? Enough is enough. Africa must rise again. I'm a very proud African woman. I'm slaving away in a land that detests the existence of a rich African person, of a successful African person, of a very vibrant, energetic, zealous professionals that live amongst them. They don't want us to grow financially. They don't want us to be anything. They want to kill all the educated. They want to destroy all the professionals. They want to make of nothing all the ones that have the zeal to succeed. They're encouraging and celebrating the ones that came from Lampedusa, the one they can give 300 euros to work like a slave, to do 10 hours job for 300 euros a month. Africa must rise again. Our politicians are the greatest curse upon us, and we must do something about it. One, Africans must learn to choose presidents that are educated. Education is very important. An illiterate and an educated person, they do things differently. They do things differently. An educated person still has pride in himself. Any decision they make inside the country, nationally or internationally. An illiterate is like a fool. Nobody respects him. He goes around thinking, my wife in front of international bodies. Oh, my wife belongs to my bed, to my kitchen, to my parlor, and to the other room. Nobody even laughed. People were shocked. But the person that made that remark, he didn't even realize it. And he's making a fool of himself. Enough is enough. We should choose educated people. We should choose people that, though everybody lies when they are there, but I think we should stop choosing military people to rule over us. You see, they torture the military people. And because of this constant torture, when they come in a position of power, they are not there to make Nigeria great. They want to take their own portion. And you find a 100-year-old president that doesn't want to live there again. All the money he takes, he lives in Switzerland, he hides money around in the world, and all the money ends up staying in the international banks. There's so many African wealth in banks. You know that banks, when the owner of an account dies, nobody claims the money. After years, I think after 10 years or something like that, thereabout, the bank has the right to take over the money. Or not really, maybe they have the right, but they can take over the money. They will not, even if you have a next of kin, and the next of kin does not trace your money to wherever country they keep the money, they won't inform you. That's actually the situation right now. They take all our wealth abroad. They die, and the money ends up being abroad. We have to stop. Africa is rich. We have natural resources. Everybody, why do you think everybody wants a piece of Africa? They want what we have. Since Chinese got to Africa, animals have started dying. Donkeys have started disappearing. These people are useless and heartless just because the skin of a donkey, they can kill 1 billion donkeys just because they want their skin for Chinese medication. They want to make us fatter. They want to make us unfatter. Why they take our own animals to make themselves fatter? Africa, I know, I'm proud of you. Don't misunderstand me. I'm proud of the way we are reacting right now.
This is a common sight in Africa these days. Donkeys skinned and left to rot. From Nigeria to Burkina Faso to Zimbabwe, farmers are reporting massacres like this since 2016. Why is there this sudden demand for donkey skin? It is to feed the demand of the Chinese market. Donkey skins are allegedly a key ingredient in a traditional Chinese concoction used to cure menstrual problems, sleep disorders, and cardiovascular diseases. China has woken up to this potion in the late 90s.
咱家主要是卖的就是东阿阿胶股份有限公司的产品，这个桃花鸡主要是说女士吃的比较多，你像那个海螺胶一般是男士补肾用的，然后补血膏是那个女士补血，然后那个阿胶主要是大补气血的，
那是东阿阿胶的，
它比较纯的一个，
是东阿阿胶的吧？
是，它补的比较广，这个。
This sudden demand from Africa began after the donkey population in China shrunk from 9.4 million in 1996 to 5.5 million in 2015. While the supply has shrunk, price of hides has risen almost 5 times to $78 in 2010 to $405 in 2015.
以前那咱村里人看见好多驴，你看现在别说你上村里找一头驴都找不着。
它的临床应用很广泛的，那么不仅仅可以用于泌尿系统疾病，可以用于心血管疾病，还用于失眠等这样一些精神疾患方面的疾病。同时呢，更多的也用于妇科的月经不调等等内分泌疾病这样一些疾病。
State-built donkey abattoirs opened in Namibia, Tanzania, Kenya, Ethiopia, and Botswana. Niger's hide exports tripled. Botswana has already slaughtered 3% of its total donkey population in the last 6 months. And in Tanzania, thieves stole the entire donkey stock from a village in the middle of the night.
Zvazvinoita ndezvekuti zvinhu zvakafanana nekuti zvoniwo kana uine mota yako handiti inogona kunge toti mota iri kuweta kana kuti 3000 handiti pouyawo munhu usipokutaura kuti zvoni pamoteri yako ndaida ndikuida 6000 haungatadzira bhozi unenge uchida kuti munhu wese anoda mari ende zvatete tingonzwa maredhio zvichitaurwa kunzi hanzi matehwe acho akakosha chichi anorapa chichi anogadzira mishonga yakasiyana siyana isu hatisati takunyatsoziziva zviri but zvinhu zvokungonzwawo kuti too expensive kana pakutengesa dhongu but asati anyatsoone information.
To the extent these silly Chinese people, because the whole world is wanting to sue them, instead of Africa to join to sue them, we are bringing them in with billions of Nigerian president brings them in with billions of dollars to buy equipment from China, to build a hospital, for Chinese doctors when they are beating us and humiliating us in their country. Italian police, they are the same thing. They want to destroy anybody with economical stability. They want to ruin us. I know, I'm talking out of experience. I'm a target of their ruin. They cyberbully me. They try to. My computer is cloned. How they clone computer is that they go to the internet service provider, get your IP there, the internet connection IP. That's how they actually hide your IP. It's not through your phone again. Because somebody like me, it is very difficult to hide my phone to phone, or to hide me through emails and things like that. It's very difficult. I studied information technology. I know how to kick your ass out of my phone. But when you come to the internet service provider, even things that they do online can be erased. This is a mafia country. They will violate you, steal your credit card details, steal all. You just find that Africans, your money are missing. They don't want us to be. This is craziness. We must stop it. We must fight against this. We must do. I'm very impressed the way Africans have actually reacted to this present situation. They want to now stigmatize us because they are used to using us as guinea pig. Now they want to say we are the ones that brought in the virus. They're trying to make Africans sick. They want to make us homeless. They're pushing us out of home. I know this. That's what they did to me in the residence I stayed in Magera. And the police actually laid their hands on me. There is a virus outside that can kill me if I get infected. And the Italian law enforcement, the military police was called. I called the military police. I called the police. I told the police before even the residents, now they called the police. When they called the police, that was when the police beat me up. When I called the police, they didn't do anything about it. But when they called the police, they came and they beat me up. They said I should pay double rent. If I don't pay double rent, I should go out. And because I refused to pay double rent and I refused to go out, the police beat me up. I didn't argue with them. There was no fight. There was no aggression. There was no exchange of words before the police came. The only problem was the police. They have stolen my properties. I'm into online marketing. All my 80,000 worth of properties was stolen. I took the case to court in Milano. I was about to make a counter suit when this coronavirus thing happened. They are still my properties in campus tourists. The law enforcement agent, the Italian authorities, are the ones that are always accused of being involved in the persecution against me, the theft of my properties and everything they do to me. Even making me, they want me to be homeless. They're stigmatizing my reputation, causing tension against me. They're stealing from me and they want to destroy my own reputation. Propaganda. I will show you a video of one Chinese woman that they use propaganda against. So for you to understand what propaganda is about. Propaganda, this woman, they actually cloned her face, put it on somebody's body and said she was an escort, a prostitute. They said she was into pornographic film or something like that. Let me let you watch this video.
They threatened to kill her if she didn't stop criticizing China's leaders. She began getting late-night visits to her home.
Yeah, I want to show you this.
The intimidation also went online. Xue was targeted by a vicious smear campaign.
This is a Photoshop.
Her face has been pasted onto hundreds of lurid photos and then posted to escort sites, along with her phone number and address.
They said that I was working for nightclub and I was offering sex service. I received hundreds of phone calls per day.
There are also tens of thousands of online postings accusing her of fraud and questioning her integrity.
I'm a liar and I stolen money from our humanitarian actions and I'm very ugly. I'm very it's everything. What you could think about a person.
So that's what propaganda can do. The Chinese government did that, but it is also done over here in Europe where I reside. It has been done to me several times. Even in the house I stayed in Marghera, via Stadler, a camera was placed in my room and I had to use journal to to cover the mirror of the room. The camera was in the mirror. I suspected one on the light shade, but I could not really see it properly, but I had signal with my indicator. I have something that indicates hidden camera. In the mirror, there was camera there. In Via Stadler that I lived. It was actually a house connected to some authorities. We are actually at war as a race. 50% of melanin people get what I'm talking about. We have other 50% that they are totally ignorant, they are stupid, they are the ones that they are always using against their own people. So as we fight this battle, this great battle together to get back our territory, we also should be mindful of the haters amongst us, the traitors amongst us, the fools amongst us, the ignorant amongst us, the non-intelligent amongst us, the brain damaged amongst us, and the nincompoops amongst us. When we understand that we're fighting a war and we have enemies within, then you have to fight with the sword and with the other hand you're building. Okay? One hand with the sword, just like Nehemiah. You have sword in one hand and you're building with the other hand. So that means even just like social distancing, you're social distancing yourself from the ones, the enemies within. It's not just the albinoid. They upgrade their own strategy against us every day. It is all that continue to go around the circle. But that must stop. Most Africans, like myself, we want to come back to our fatherland. We want to build our fatherland. We don't want to become, we don't want to be under the fascist authority. where destruction of independent individuals is their major goal. Any individual such as like myself, if you are independent, especially economically, you will be under attack. And that is the reason, the major reason for my own attack. People are being used, Nigerian boys are being used as drug peddlers, Nigerian girls are being used as sex, machines, either sex machine by an idiot or either sex machine as a sales sex machine, if you know what I'm talking about. And some, of course, are being lured to be used as a guinea pig. Africa must rise again. Well, I'll end this here, and I pray that God will continue to lift up Africans that gets it, so we can fight against these terrorists we have as government. So we can fight against these people that say they're in the position of power, but they are the ones killing us. And they will sell us as slaves at this point. Based on so many things I've seen of General Muhammadu Buhari, the presiding president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I don't think that man has any good intention for our country. We have to act fast and do what is proper. Does Nigeria need a revolution? Does Nigeria need to impeach our current president? What do we need to do to move ahead? Please let me know. Let us know your opinion, what we need to do. Should we impeach the president? Should we consider revolution? Or should we just sit down and be sold to the Chinese as slaves? And when when the Chinese is totally in control of our country, they're going to kill the president himself, they're going to kill everybody that has black skin, use our skin for pepper soup as they did to this poor dog. As they did to this poor dog, use us as pepper soup, use us as shoes. They need raw material, and our skin can be raw material. They roast Nigerians in China. They roast Africans. I saw a video like that, but I don't have the video any longer, where they were roasting in Nigeria. If anybody has the video, please send it to my WhatsApp, where they were roasting our Nigerians, okay? So I will just end today's blog here. Thank you for listening to me. If you have any information, any video, and you want to convey to me, you can do it. I have so much I did now. I have too much that to put out that I'm still doing the editing, and it's too much. And apart from the fact that I'm going through persecution here, and continuous harassment, and targeting of my property by delinquents. And because of this, it slowed down so many things I'm doing, but I'm still moving all the same. The Lord is with me, God the Father is with me, God the Son is with me, God the Holy Spirit is with me. I'm very strong, and I continue to move, ahead, and to be the first and never the last, in Jesus' name. Please also remember to subscribe and like my videos, share my videos if you like it, and also let your voice be known. At the end of this video, you find my WhatsApp number where you can communicate. If my video WhatsApp number is for Melaninandalbinoid Live, you can communicate there, send videos, send anything you can send. And also, you can also support my blog. Thank you very much for listening to me. And remember, the greatest weapon in the hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. So, as I always say, face your fears, elevate your mind, and resist every temptation to panic. It is me, Lady Abibola, for Melaninandalbinoid Live. I'll see you in my next vlog, and stay cool.